Greetings. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Today I'd like to talk just a little bit about a book known as Magical Attack by Gordon Winterfield. Now, there's a reason why I decided to talk about this today. Not really because I'm using it, but because my beloved Hikate asked a question, and I thought it'd be a good idea to make a video about it. And yeah, this is definitely something that I've used, I've had experience with. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily have a need for it now, but it's something that once you have it and you understand how to use it, if the need arrives, you can always pull it out. But it's not something that I'm seeking to go out and utilize. You know what I'm saying? Peace, Alex Cuckoo. Peace, Sirius Suit Triple Eight. Peace, Zahira New. We grow natural. Peace, peace. Fitness royalty. Peace. Arenthaus. Greetings, greetings. So, yeah, go ahead and like the video if this is a topic that you'd like to hear about, something that you're interested in. So basically, what Hekate asked was, she asked me, after 20 years of practical magic and seeing yourself where you are, can you tell me what do you think about magical attack? I'd like your opinion. She said that she's carefully reading it at this moment. So basically, if you don't know, Magical Attack is a book by Gordon Winterfield, and he's associated with the group called Gallery of Magic. And they have written quite a few grimoires. I'm gonna think about 20 of them, and each one of them covers a different aspect of working with different types of magic, whether it's working with spirits of Goetia or the angels, a lot of different topics. So about 3 years ago, I bought this book, Magical Attack, and 3 years ago was the time frame that I was working very heavily with the Goetia and with different practices like that. My life was different, right? I had a lot of different kind of situations that I don't have right now. And what I would definitely say is, yeah, the practices, the techniques, the rituals in this book absolutely work, beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's no maybe it worked or maybe it didn't. No, they do work. And even if you look at the reviews on Amazon or if you join their Facebook group, you'll see that there are plenty of people who have used these rituals successfully. But what I learned is what happened wasn't necessarily something that I wanted to, have as a part of my life, right? Now, the very good thing about this book is that the whole first section talks about preparation, and there's a whole chapter on protection and defense, right? And it's not so much defense from a backlash, but it's just to get your mind right about what's actually going on, okay? And what is actually going on is, as long as the situation is one in where justice is required, right? Say, for example, you are being harassed, you are being gossiped about, like you're actually having something against you, and there really is no other way to correct that issue, then this is a perfect solution. Now, the book clarifies that, and I'm clarifying that now because there are people who are delusional and don't want to accept reality. What I mean by that is sometimes there are situations where you're making a bigger deal out of it than what's actually going on, meaning that justice isn't required, but an adjusted perspective is required. And if you're not the kind of person who's honest with yourself, you can end up fucking yourself over messing around with magic like this, right? Why? Because if you've got an incorrect perspective on reality, you're gonna fuck yourself up no matter what you do, whether it's magic or you're going to college, right? Because you're gonna make the wrong decisions based on a lie. Now, what I mean by that is, are you actually being harassed? Are you actually being attacked? Are the people that are actually doing you wrong? That's something you have to come into honesty with yourself about first, okay? Not just you don't like somebody or not somebody hurt your feelings. Like, is this actually a situation in which um, it the solution is out of your physical hands. If so, this allows you techniques that you can utilize to employ some etheric and some astral influence. Now, what I would recommend reading if you are an occultist, if you're a student of magic, if you're somebody that's trying to actually understand this, I'd recommend either listening to the live stream I did last night about the chapter on Geburah from the book called The Ladder of Lights, or I just recommend doing your own personal study on Geburah. And if you don't know, just like the color red and just like Tuesday, Geburah represents the energy of what's known as Mars, the Martian type of energy. And in case you don't know, every pantheon, no matter if it is Yoruba or even Goetia or even the Greek pantheons or Roman pantheons, no matter which pantheon you choose from, yeah, no matter what pantheon you choose from, every one of the gods that are associated in that pantheon are going to be related to one of the spheres on the Kabbalah or one of the planets. For example, Zeus is typically attributed to Jupiter. Ares is typically attributed to Mars, the god of war. Kali can be associated with Mars. Inanna and Ishtar and a lot of these different Sekhmet, Shango. A lot of these warrior type of entities belong to Geburah. Geburah represents justice, right? And it's not just warfare, it's not just attack, right? It's nothing to do with anger. It's nothing to do with being mad and upset and I want to fuck shit up. That's not what the energy of Mars is about. That's a common misconception people have. So if you're an occultist, I recommend doing your research about what Geburah actually represents. Okay? And why do I say that? I say that because the energy of Mars, the energy of warfare and attack, Mars is not the beginner of wars. Mars is the finisher of wars. Mars is about justice. When things become out of control, right? When human stupidity gets to the point where there is no other solution but warfare, that's where Mars steps in. That's where the energy of Mars steps in to finish it, to correct it, to bring justice. That's what the energy of Mars is about. So if your situation is a situation in which there is no other way to solve it, right? And you want to end it, not play the ping pong of get back, right? Then this is something that can help you. So basically, she asked me that question, and I told her it did work. And if you have a situation like that, I would definitely use it. However, an even better technique is they say offense is the best defense, or rather, defense is the best offense. I much prefer to set up my life in such a way that I don't have to use the rituals in this book, so that I don't have to employ the energies of Mars. If you have to employ the energies of Mars in warfare and magical attack, then that means you're out of balance. That means your mind is out of balance and your external environment is out of balance. If you have to go to the lengths to employ warfare, that means you're out of balance. So, what I would recommend is gear yourself towards correcting the imbalance. Use the Martian energy not just to slice off, to cut away, and to destroy the situations that are troubling you, but also use it to bring justice, harmony, and balance. You want to get more to the Tifereth aspect of things. You want to get to the middle. You don't want to stay on the left side or the right side. You want balance. The whole purpose of this whole thing is harmony and balance. Not to go to war back and forth every day because you're bored and you enjoy doing that. Because you'll lose that fight. You can't keep it up. You're not built to keep that kind of lifestyle up. Live by the sword, die by the sword. That's what the Bible says, right? You can't keep that lifestyle up. So if you're gonna get involved with a book like Magical Attack, make sure you're doing it because justice is required, right? Because you need the situation ended, terminated, corrected. And really what's happening energetically, astrally, is that the situation that has formed is going to be destroyed, obliterated, and broken up so that the energy that was caught up, that was blocked up, the whole energy that's causing the situation can be released so that it can go where it needs to go. So, if you're going to use this book, Magical Attack, understand that there are multiple rituals in here. It's not just how to destroy somebody's life. Now, there is a master curse, and it's a very heavy it can have a very heavy effect on someone's life. So I wouldn't recommend just jumping straight to that part in the book. Let's keep it real now. If you listen to everything that I just said about justice, then you wouldn't you wouldn't be jumping for that ritual anyways, right? There's different rituals. For example, there's one to silence gossip. There's one to bind people to pretty much keep them out of your life. Um, there's one to, just to correct any type of different situation that's causing disharmony. But if you've tried those and they don't work, and you're left with no other choice but the master curse, that's the heavy artillery. You pull it out if and only if it's necessary, because it can have a very drastic effect. All right. When I was working with this 3 years ago, I was in a situation where I didn't have any other choice because this person had authority and power over me. And I was being mistreated to the point where if I didn't do something, I was going to lose my livelihood and I wasn't going to be able to pay my bills. And I wasn't doing anything wrong. So I don't believe that I deserve that kind of treatment. So being that I was involved with the Goetia and I had already purchased Demons of Magic by the same author, I went ahead and got Magical Attack. And I started from the beginning. I did all the rituals in this book, right? And I did the one to bind and silence gossip. I did the one to cause confusion to your enemy. Like I did all the other ones, and they worked. But then the situation kept happening, so I had no choice but to use the master curse. And at first, I didn't see any results, but I was patient. I waited. I understand that you don't become attached to the outcome. It's not when you want it to happen. You allow it to happen on its own time, and it did. This individual had his own business, and very soon after I employed the master curse, his whole business fell apart, right? Which eventually led to him having a divorce, which really, turned a lot of things upside down for him. And that's it's not exactly what I personally wanted. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted this dude to leave me alone. But what ended up was his whole life got turned around. Okay. Now, one thing that this book does state in the beginning is that you shouldn't feel bad about that kind of thing. And I did feel a little bit bad about it at first. But what this book talks about is that, in a way, you are delivering divine justice. Because technically, energetically, the way that this person's mind was, and his personality, and his energy, and his karma was already, this was bound to happen to him. This was bound to happen to him anyways. It just so happened he chose somebody who fucks with magic to deliver this divine justice. I didn't know that. I didn't understand that at the time, right? Now I do. So if you have to come to the point that you have to call upon something like magical attack in the rituals, that means that the person that you're using it against had it coming essentially. And if not by you, it was going to be delivered somehow, some way by someone else or something else. Now, you've got to have a mature mind to understand that, right? That's not an excuse to go out and fuck with people, right? I'm not telling you to go out and curse people. I'm not telling you to buy this book and use it just to get back at people who you think did you wrong. You really got to sit down and you really have to do some self analysis. Did someone actually do you wrong? That's the first question. Because, like I said in the beginning of this video, sometimes we over exaggerate situations because our feelings are hurt. Get out your feelings, okay? This is about justice. Justice doesn't mean your feelings are hurt and now you want to get revenge. That's not justice. Justice has nothing to do with hurt feelings. I said justice has nothing to do with hurt feelings. Justice is when a situation is imbalanced and you have no other way to correct that situation. Now, that's not about anger and you being upset. All right? I'm trying to be clear here. I'm trying to be clear. This isn't an excuse to go be a little dickhead, right? This is if you have no other option. That's what the energy of Mars is about. That's what the energy of Geburah is about. When there's no other option and things have gone too far and they need to be sliced away, they need to be cut, they need to be balanced. All right? So if that's you, if you're in that situation and you've got no other way, then by all means use magical attack. But what I said also, and what I've learned 3 years later after using this book, you know what I'm saying? After using this book, using all the rituals in this book, and having it be real, what I learned was it's far better to balance your lifestyle so that you don't have to use magical attacks and send demons after people and do all these rituals, so that you don't have to do that. Okay? It's far better to organize your life to where you don't have to do that. And if your life isn't like that right now, start working towards it. That's why we're studying yoga right now. That's why we're studying the mind right now, so that you can get to a point that your internal reality is balanced so that your external reality becomes balanced. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. Okay, so I went off on a rant and rave. I didn't really check the chats. I am that I am 1877 asks what's the name of the book. It is in the title of this video. Let's see who we got in the building today. Rello Torin, peace. Will Trent, good to see you. I hope things are better for you right now. I am Wisdom Faye. Good evening. Alora, peace, peace. Gerson and Mbalo, peace. Gerson and Mbalo says good for beginners or more advanced practitioners, just asking. It can be used, I mean, it's not so much about beginner or advanced. It's about, are you somebody who is um, needing this right now? And if you're needing it, are you willing to do the work required? Are you willing to actually sit down and do these rituals, right? They're done over a series of days, right? It's not something you just do once and forget. You do it over a series of days. So if you don't have the discipline to do that, then it's not for you. So it isn't so much about beginners or advanced. It's about, are you at the level where you can handle this kind of work, right? Can you make the time to sit down? Can you make the time to sit down and meditate for 5 minutes a day, right? But these are rituals that are done over a series of time, and it has a compounding effect as you work the energy up. So, regardless if you're a beginner or an advanced practitioner, you've got to be willing to do that. Mo B, good evening. Gerald Sombright, peace, peace. Heroin Father, yo yo. Up at a Unicorn, good evening. Zadis Art, peace. Alora said that person was also in alignment with that curse. Absolutely. That's exactly what happens. A lot of times when we get into certain types of magic, it isn't just for us. Sometimes we do become channels and vessels to deliver karma to other people. And that's not just bad, that's also good. Sometimes you harmonize and balance your life so that you can bring in a flow of positive things that's for sharing with other people, right? And if people in your life and around you are in alignment with that, they'll receive that. And sometimes you start to attract people who are more in alignment with what you're receiving. So, this reality, no man is an island, no woman is an island, nobody is just by themselves. We're all connected here. That's why it's so important for each and every one of us to do this work, because as we do the work, the people attached to us begin to rise up and their lives begin to harmonize as well. Your influence is much deeper than just your words and just what you type on the internet. Sometimes just your presence influences people. Sometimes when people kind of just see you and watch you from the sidelines, even that influences people. Greetings, Hikate. Alora says it was going to happen one way or another. You just help speed up the process. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I mean. Timon, Timon, greetings. We Grow Natural says, I want an abusive man to leave me alone. Will this book help? Absolutely, it will. Absolutely, it will. But you got to be fortified and be serious. Just like what I said to Gerson and Balo earlier. Are you willing to sit on and do these rituals every day? Are you willing to keep it up? Right? Or do you really want change? Are you really at that point where you're ready to change and transform the situation? Right? Because I've talked to people who are in similar situations, and while they say they want it to change, they're not willing to do anything to change it. So, if you're someone who practices magic, who works with spirits, and this sounds like something that you want to utilize to transform your life, then go ahead and do it. But understand that it's going to take consistency. And you're going to have to make sure that you're doing your part in keeping your behavior, your thoughts, and your words in alignment with the change that you're trying to manifest. Okay? So, when we talk about magic, it's not like snap your fingers magic. It's more like, okay, now I know what to do to transform my life. Let me do it. You see the difference? So, yes. Sunshine Chick, greetings. Reflection, thumbs up. Hanifa says makes enough sense. Awesome, awesome. Who loves orange soda? Appreciate you, bro. Dark Tuber Druid, peace, peace. Nuru, greetings. Alora says, I made a curse to a girl. The curse was for her to be faced with her lessons, so she has to change her ways. They recently got kicked out of their home, but she hasn't changed her ways. And it'd be like that sometimes, right? How many times have we faced hardships in our lives that were opportunities for us to change our behavior and we were too stubborn to acknowledge it? She's gonna keep having stuff happen to her like that until she gets to the point. And that's okay. We Grow Natural says, I have the time because I want the results. Excellent. Excellent. Well, then this is for you. Hecate says, I think that when you believe you have the power of magic to hurting people makes you powerful as fantasy. Magic is personal, empowered self, not weakness. Exactly. It's about personal empowerment of self. It's not about empowering the ego. Heroin Father says, I've been slacking off a bit too much in my studies, need a way to get back. Start right now. Start today. What's good, Amar? Peace, peace. Mars, right? But yeah, for anybody who does study the cult, I would definitely recommend checking out the chapter in uh, Ladder of Lights about Geburah. We read that last night, and I found a lot of stuff that I didn't really realize about Geburah. And Geburah is not about straight up warfare and battle. He's more about balance, more about justice in the sense that things have gotten out of hand and now they need to be shaved, right? By the way, if you're watching this video and you haven't liked the video, go ahead and like the video because we're dealing with the internet algorithm that responds to likes. So go ahead and like this video if you like it. Mike's World says, "Hey Trav, I came late. Which book?" The title is the book's title. Title of this video. Once meditation and knowledge occurs, that becomes your truth, power, and no one can fuck with you. Absolutely, Hecate. Okay, so the name of the book is called Magical Attack. It's called Magical Attack. Okay, okay. Ashe, ashe. So yeah. How do I summon demons? Get the book; it'll tell you. So yeah, just all in summary, this book does work. It's worked for me. It's worked for plenty of people. You can look online and see their stories. You can see the comments on the Amazon. Like I said, they have a Facebook group. You can check that out. You can go on my Facebook group and see the people that have used it. Um, but what I would recommend more importantly is to organize your life so that you don't have to use it, right? I mean, wouldn't you rather live a life where you don't have to have warfare? And if you're someone who enjoys warfare, if that's your energy, well, you know, hopefully one day that you can start to evolve to the point where you can utilize that energy on a higher octave because there's a place for everyone and everything, but no matter what where you resonate at, if your mind is in those lower octaves of guilt and shame and revenge and pain and suffering, you're just going to cultivate more of that. You feel me? All right, so check this out. I'm going to end this video, probably get something to eat, and I think it'd be a good idea to go over a study a little bit more about the vrittis. So I'm going to read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali from the first verse to the 16th verse. And in those verses, Patanjali is talking about what is yoga, which we know now. Verse 1.2 is yoga is the management of the subtle behavior of the mind. Mind control. Yoga is mind control. What is mind control? Mind control is being able to analyze what's going on in your experience and to modify those behaviors, to manage those behaviors, to control those behaviors, right? Because most people don't have that discipline, right? You smell something, now you're hungry, and you cannot stop yourself from going to eat. You can't stop yourself from grabbing that snack, right? You see your friends online with their fancy clothes. Now you won't be comfortable until you have clothes like that. It's just little bitty stuff like that where we say, oh yeah, I want those things, but where do the wants come from? You say, I can do what I want. Where does the wants come from? So yoga is the management of the mind. It's mind control. And furthermore, he gets into breaking down what exactly are the five types of vrittis, which is right knowledge, which is wrong knowledge. We got a lot of that floating around. It's imagination, it's sleep, and it is memory. Those are the five types of vrittis, the five types of mental fluctuations. And when we're able to control those, we start the process of really controlling our lives. You start the process of no longer being tossed to and fro against the rocks of life, and you can gain one pointedness. You can start to move towards samadhi. You can start moving towards spiritual evolution. And that's good because you start coming into alignment with your higher self and your higher bodies. And once you do that, you have more control over what's happening in your life, right? Manifestation is all about alignment. It's not about doing stuff, right? It's not about this candle. It's not about writing your affirmations. It's not about that stuff specifically. Those are different tools that you can use. Sure, you can use crystals. Sure, you can burn stuff and light candles. You can do all that, yeah. But that's not what manifestation is. Manifestation is alignment. You come into alignment with what you're trying to manifest, and then it comes to you because you're on the same path. Life is flowing. Life is flowing. And if there's something that you want, you come into alignment with it so that it can flow into your life easily. But that doesn't happen for everyone because we are tossed to and fro by the fluctuations of the mind. We're distracted by our five senses, and we have no control over ourselves. So that's why it's so important to study this information and to apply this information, because then we can come to a point of power. Power comes from peace, right? And if you're not having peace, that means you're lacking power. And you have to use something like this to get yourself right. All right? So, oh yeah, oh yeah. Good stuff. The Junkyard Jedi podcast says consciousness should permeate all existence, and it does. And it does, whether we have awareness of it or not. Bobby Lucif says, so how do you truly come into alignment? Well, it starts with you acknowledging how you're out of alignment, right? You can't go anywhere until you know where you're at. You can have a map of your destination, but if you don't know where you're starting from, you you just got a map. So it starts with stopping, removing yourself from the chaos of the five senses, right? Maybe maybe not play the video game tonight with the fellas. Maybe not watch that movie on Netflix or that series tonight, right? Maybe not do whatever it is where you're burning up time, and maybe just sit for a moment and analyze what's going on. I know it's difficult for a lot of people, but this is the answer to your question, right? You say, how do you truly come into alignment? Well, it starts with figuring out where you are right now. You got to stop, you got to sit down and analyze what's going on. See what you're doing, see what your role in this is, right? Analyze what's causing you to behave this way. How are you behaving, right? It's called metacognition. You're thinking about how you're thinking, okay? That's the hard work. That's the hard work. That so everything when we're talking about yoga, like the stretches and the postures, the mantras, meditating and focusing, and all the different things, those are just tools that allow you to come to a point of introspection so that you can actually look within and analyze your experience. Usually we're too extroverted. Usually we're too focused on the five senses to pay attention to what's going on in here. Usually we are being stimulated and we're chasing those stimulations, right? How many hours have you spent on that phone in your hand right now? How many hours have you spent on that phone in your hand right now? Right? And if it's not the phone, we've all got our different things. Everybody's got their different things. But what it takes is removing yourself from those things. And it's not like cold turkey, you've got to become a Jedi yogi today. No, just take a little bit of time out of your day, but be consistent every day at the same time. With me, what I've been doing lately, as soon as I wake up, I go outside and I do a gratitude walk. I go out for a walk, get some fresh air, get some sunlight, and I just focus only on those things that I'm grateful for. Right? I take time to do that. And that gives me a moment to analyze how far I've come and where I'm at currently and where I want to go. I'm able to take into account all those things and it allows me to manage my day better. That's an excellent suggestion if you don't know what to do at all. Start with gratitude. Okay. Meta mind. Heroin Father says, what if you remove the five senses? Well, you can't remove the five senses, but you can try to remove yourself from them. That'll help. Takes a lot of practice to be able to do that, but if you can pull it off, that would be great. That's one of the tools that you can use, right? I believe they call that dhyana. There's also dharana. There's also asana, which is the postures. There's also mudras, right? There's also mantras and all that stuff. You can use all those things to stop and go within. That's what they're for. That's what they're for. You're not just supposed to be out here posing and taking pictures for Instagram in your yoga pants. That's not what yoga is. Doing those postures is an opportunity for you to go under self analysis. You analyze where's the tension in your body, analyze what's happening in your mind when you're in this posture, analyze the stillness that you experience. It's an inner process, not an outer process, right? It's an inner process. Okay? You got it. You got it. So, once again, the topic of this video was Magickal Attack by Gordon Winterfield. If you have problems in your life where there is no other solution, where you got no other solution, right? And you have to rely on this, then this will get it done for you. But it's not about, it gives you an opportunity to channel your anger, to channel your rage, to channel your pain. But it's not about anger and pain and all that stuff. It's about coming to a point of balance and harmony in your life to where you don't need to do this anymore. Okay? All right. You got it. All right. Moby says alignment takes time, but when you see it working in your life in the mundane details, you know the self working is paying off. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm about to jump off of here and then I'll return with the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So thank you guys for joining, hanging out for this 30 minutes. And the next live stream is probably going to be 2.5 to 3 hours. Um, in a few moments, you'll get the notification. Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, verses 1 through 16. See you soon. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Peace.